the Israeli ambassador. Just a joke. Please take a seat, Mr. Ambassador. And well, this will be a problem, of course, because we have still half an hour, maybe 3/4 of an hour. I would like to give you the floor to issue your statements and ideas about this conflict.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. Shalom, good evening. Alam salam. I feel very nervous after listening to Haim and Bommel and to realize that actually my position is threatened by Mr. Rosenthal. So I have to really perform my best so I can still keep my job. Now, certainly this is a very serious matter, and let me just begin with a couple of remarks. We're not doing anyone a favor by agreeing to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This is first and foremost the interest of the State of Israel, the interest of every Israeli. But the question is, of course, how we're getting there. And Mr. Netanyahu stated time and again that he is for a two-state solution. For us, the idea of having one state, it's a dangerous, very dangerous development for the Israelis. The majority of Israelis are against it. Majority of Israelis are for two-state solutions. Majority of Israelis realize that in the process, we have to take very painful decisions. But let us just see what's happening around. And no one, up to now, touched the very volatile, very difficult neighborhood that we are living in. And that might explain why majority of Israelis are voting for parties who they feel might give them the sense of security. This is a sense of security that might be a little bit remote from you, but I think the recent events, in spite of all the remarks that I've heard, will illustrate what us, the Israelis, are going through. We left Gaza Strip completely. We dismantled all the Jewish communities. No Jewish people remain behind. What one would have thought Hamas would have done, would have used the infrastructure, the greenhouses, the farmland to develop the area for the benefit of the people. What did we get in return? You'll have plenty of opportunity. What did we get in return? Barrage of rockets. You cannot imagine one single rocket being fired at your neighborhood. In the last couple of weeks, more than 1 million Israelis are in shelters most of the time. You cannot fathom, you cannot understand. And this is an area that we left completely. Take Lebanon. We do not talk about Lebanon. We left southern Lebanon according to a UN resolution, though for whoever mentions the fact that we are violating. To the letter, it was 1702, I think, the resolution. We pulled out of Lebanon. What did we get in return? Barrage of missiles. Hezbollah, a terrorist organization which is part of the coalition in Lebanon, and I think it's a very interesting precedent. Maybe the other day, or SP should also consider to have an armed wing with 60,000 rockets. I think it's a good idea, original idea. And they are, in a way, dictating events in Lebanon, and they are serving as the proxies of Iran, and they can fire at any moment, and it happened in the past. This is the environment that we're living in. And to say today, especially today, after 1 year of the upheaval in the region, that the Israeli-Palestinian is the cause of instability, I think I cannot agree with that. I think we see exactly what is happening, and not that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict should not be solved. Believe me, I would have loved to appear on different venues with a very friendly audience and talk about, science and culture, etc. We do not enjoy living in a conflict, and certainly we don't want to see the Palestinians going through hardship. But this is a very complex reality. Take Hamas. I've heard Hamas willing to recognize. Wow, that's a very original way of recognizing a state, by shelling and bombarding on a daily basis. The fact that you don't hear much about it up till recently is because luckily we have been able to escape being hit by the shellings, the Katyusha, the Grad missiles, advanced Grad missiles being manufactured in Iran, very sophisticated. The fact that we have been able to build shelters, to have systems which will intercept the missiles, brought the casualty level for almost zero, and we have to be punished. Now, talking about targeted killing, this is a state of war. What are we going? When you are in a state of war, you wait until the enemy will shoot, and then you say, "Oh, now I have the right to shoot." Well, just go through the history books about wars. We know of arch terrorist who is planning and to launch rockets against Israel. Civilian population. All the rockets are not being launched against military establishment. Civilian population, schools, etc. And we should stay and wait until he's actually, this is our duty, the way it would have been the duty of any government in the Netherlands, if one single rocket would have been shot towards one of the cities. And I don't wish it on anyone. Going back to our topic. And therefore the Israelis are getting up in the morning, and Israelis which are, maybe we are stupid, that we don't understand what's happening. Are we standing against the rest of the world? Who knows? Maybe we get up in the morning and say, what else can we do in order to annoy the rest of the world? Believe me, this is not our way of thinking. We get up in the morning, smart people that are innovative, people that are creative, people that are writing outstanding academic papers, and most of them, not all of them, because Israel is a democracy, and as Mr. Vabon said, we have many, many voices, and we are very proud to have many, many voices. I wish on the other side, in the Arab world, there would have been one fraction of different voices, then we would have had peace today. But that yet didn't happen. So in this situation, the average Israeli gets up in the morning and says, what should I expect today? Should I listen to Ahmadinejad, that is vowing to wipe us out with the nuclear capabilities he is going to develop? To Hezbollah, which are possessing 60,000 rockets? To Hamas, which are possessing more than 20,000 rockets? What about changes in Egypt, which are rethinking the peace agreement? What about Hamas as perpetrating terrorist activities? This is a reality. And when this is a reality, you're first and foremost looking for security. It's the government obligation to make sure that people are secured, and at the same time, we are not running away from negotiations. We are not running away. On the contrary, if you look at the recent history, all the way from Camp David, what Barak offered, what Olmert offered, why wasn't it met? Everyone is talking about settlements. I've seen the pamphlet here talking about ending occupation. Why at the same time you don't say ending incitement, ending hatred? This is also sending a message to the Israelis. But in the past, up till recently, who was at the forehand to condemn Israel? The Libyans, the Syrians, that are members of the Human Rights Commission in Geneva. But we don't talk about that. The conflict, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, was in a way the best card of many of the dictators who, in order to divert the frustration of the people, say, no, it's not us, it's the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not the core issue. It's an issue that has to be solved, but it is not the major issue. Settlements is not the main issue. Settlements is one of the issues that we recognize that is on the table and should be solved, but no one's talking about refugees. No one's talking about the fact that the issue of refugees should be solved. We didn't see one building in a refugee camp being dismantled just as a gesture to say we the Palestinians, are serious about solving this problem. And could be that one of the problems of Abu Mazen reaching the final stages and signing a deal is because he doesn't want to confront his people and say, forget about the right of return because it doesn't make sense. Because that was the promise. There were 100 million refugees throughout the 20th century. What happened to them? All of them have been resettled. And one group, unfortunately for them, were kept as a weapon, as a tool, in order to, by so many in the Arab world, and not only in the Arab world, to bash Israel. So bashing Israel is very popular. I heard some of the remarks there, and also this evening. We are used to it, but when it comes to our security, we are not going to compromise. Thank you very much.
I think if all the audiences in Israel and Palestine are so disciplined as in the Netherlands, there would be no conflict and people are so respectful listening. But we have to raise some questions. First of all, do you think Mr. Netanyahu can make peace?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And this is based on?
On the fact that he enjoys a very comfortable majority. You have to have someone from the right to do it. He did it it was Mr. Begin that reached an agreement with the Egyptians by giving back the entire Sinai Peninsula. It was in the past Mr. Netanyahu that, according to the Y agreement, gave to the Palestinian Authority a sizable territory. And when he enjoys the majority, not only in his party, he is the one that can do it. And he said so, bring it to test. What he's saying time and again, I would like to meet anytime, any place, including in The Hague, to meet Mr. Abu Mazen in order to continue the discussions. But one should ask himself what happened after we were almost there during the discussions with Abu Mazen Olmert.
Well, I read a story by one of the people who played an important role in the Oslo agreements, and his name, he's now working in a think tank, was Mr. Savir. He was quite an important Israeli diplomat, and he wrote an article in Jerusalem Post in which he said the current Israeli government is not making any steps towards peace. So what I would like to ask you, what kind of steps is the Israeli government at this moment making for giving openings to this process?
We'll do anything that is possible.
What is anything?
Is sitting down and dealing with all the issues which are pending. We are not saying we are not going to discuss Jerusalem. We are not saying we are not going to discuss settlements, or all the issues are on the table. All the issues we would like to continue. And by the way, the formulas which have been discussed in the past, and they most probably will be the end solutions. And my colleague, Dr. Abu-Znaid, he knows even better than me that so many formulas which have been worked on, and they are doable.
But Ambassador, if you are saying in your speech now, settlements are not the issue.
No.
For the other party, settlements, occupation of lands is the issue.
No. So I will tell you that security is the issue. Should
for
I
Israel?
Should
for
I?
Israel.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone. For me, this is the most important thing. But I'm not saying let us stop the hostilities 100%. Let us see an effort. But what do we hear? I mean, I've heard the remarks about the Hamas, which are not only that they are saying we are not recognizing the state of Israel, but we will never recognize the state of Israel. And in order to prove that, we are going to continue, or directly, or enabling other terrorist groups to launch rockets. I mean, this is the message that they are sending. So, hello, of course. Now let's assume we reach an agreement with the Palestinian autonomy. Okay, let's assume we agree,
authority. Yeah.
Authority, sorry. Let's assume we're sitting down. Let's. I will be. You will be Mr. Abu Mazen. I will be, and we can sit here and let us simulate the discussion. But I will say, fine. I mean, you have to deliver Gaza. You have to make sure that Gaza will abide by an agreement. And right now, they're not in a position to be able to impose their authority over Gaza. So, I mean, okay, we can talk, we can have discussion, we can sign an agreement, but we all know that this agreement at this point won't work.
But do you think it's possible to have a dialogue between Hamas and Israel at any moment?
If they will abide by the quartet, not our quartet. The quartet has a very...
Yeah, but Israel, I'm talking about Israel.
No, so that's what I'm saying. Stop hostilities. And
recognize Israel,
and recognize Israel, and recognize the fact. You see, the problem is the fact that Israel exists. You see, I mean, this is the problem. There are many that still do not accept us. What happened in 1948? Let me just remind for most, all of you or most of you, it's history. 1948. Wow. 1948 there was petition resolution, where it would be two-state solutions. A Jewish state, state of Israel, and a Palestinian state. While we, small Israel, accepted the two-state solution, the answer was an invasion. And this is the catastrophe of the leaders of the Palestinians then, that they joined the invasion of 5-6 armies. Small Israel, because we were so vulnerable, only 650,000 people. People thought, wow, we can wipe them, kick them to, and get rid of them. This is to remind that there were no settlements there. There were no settlements. There were no settlements until 1967. Did you see peace? No one single settlement.
But Mr. Ambassador, between 48 and 67, I count not even 20 years. And now we are almost, 44 years in history. And we have 44 years of occupation. You can understand from your side that maybe the Palestinian people feel a little bit shit about this?
We feel bad about the fact that we have to always make sure that our people are being secured, that there's no incitement, that the younger generation is being taught to learn about coexistence. This is just as valid concern. That there will be, they understand that to rehabilitate the refugees is in the future Palestinian state that will be established. We don't hear that loud and clear. So
what don't you hear loud and clear? What?
That the Palestinian refugees will be rehabilitated in their future Palestinian state. This is not being said, and therefore we are a little bit suspicious, and we are not being paranoid. We are living in this very
hostile
neighborhood. So one has to understand that when we talk about security, it is not just an excuse. This is a reality. Yet we are saying
what about the security of the Palestinians?
Don't shout. This is not fair. We have here a fair, rational discussion. Please.
You let a war criminal.
You get the word later on.
I didn't interrupt you.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. The principle of democracy is to not to agree, but to respect. Listen
You're
to
not
me.
a democracy.
No,
I would like to ask you to stop shouting.
To respect the position you do not agree with. This is democracy,
yes.
And you are not a democracy fan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for saying these words, because we have to be here in a rational, reasonable discussion. You get the word, please, no shouting. I think all people here in the room are of good willing. How can we start a real dialogue? Because we have all here the feeling that these two parties are talking a little bit around each other. They have their own interest. How can they make a real dialogue?
Okay. A dialogue is going on. I speak to my colleague here quite often. We do not agree on many issues, but we speak. We have a dialogue.
This is the Hague channel.
The Hague channel. There are many other channels. For us, because as it was described, is we should be on each other's throat. This is not the case. So there is a dialogue, there is a cooperation, there are joint programs, things are happening. Not enough, for sure. There are difficulties, for sure. But we know the Palestinians, and the Palestinians know us, and let us not miss an opportunity. You know, forget about us. Future generations, we need it. No one is doing one another a favor. It's our interest on both sides.
We are running out of time, and I would love to give the people the floor.
Go
but
ahead.
One question: why is the policy of the Netherlands a right policy according to you?
I'm not judging. First of all,
So I'm happy about it.
I'm always happy.
Okay.
I'm always happy.
Okay, the floor. There is a standing, and please the mic to her, and then to the other person.
Well, you said a couple of strange things about how the Hamas are throwing rockets on Israeli civilians. So since you're criticizing that, I'm assuming that Israel is setting the example by throwing also rockets on Gaza, also only on civilians in the war 2 years ago, which killed more than 2,000 civilians, using also illegal weapons such as phosphorus shells, which is illegal by under Protocol 3 of the Convention. In addition to that, I was also wondering, because you're saying, how do you think Israelis wake up? How do you think Palestinians wake up, knowing that there's this military force right next to them, using these illegal weapons on them, on the civilians? And
okay, clear question, very clear question.
Yeah.
Please, Ambassador.
I hear the word illegal all the time, and the right of a country to defend itself is a basic right, according to any international law. This is the basic right. Every government would have done it. We are doing it. Now, if you are take just the last couple of weeks, there was all Hamas rockets are targeting civilians.
But never killed one.
And all.
If you're shouting, this is please, lady, please stop it.
And we targeted terrorists. I repeat, terrorists. I know you know it's difficult for you to listen to the facts, but I know that facts won't confuse your position. Sorry. I know. Tough life. I know.
It's horrible. It's unbearable.
Yeah. Okay, please, thank you very much. Next question.
You should have. No, she should have subjected herself to that. It's a pity, the blood pressure is not good. It's not.
Next question, because there's so many people want to raise a question.
Answer the question.
I thought I did.
Okay.
No, my question was that since you said that they're hitting civilians, and I agree, Hamas should not target civilians, but you're also not not
first of all,
targeting civilians.
if a civilian, a Palestinian civilian, is being hurt, we regret it. We don't dish out candies the way it took place in the Second Intifada when discos and buses were blown up, and in Gaza they were dishing out sweets. This is civilian population. If they are hurt, this is something that we regret, and this is not our target.
Okay, I think two more questions, because it's really fair to give the floor to the Palestinian ambassador. Yeah, there.
I was
Your
thinking,
name, please. Your name.
My name is Anna.
And your family name?
Van Winden.
Okay, thank you.
And I was thinking, I can imagine that people in Israel are very afraid every morning if they wake up, and the same is for the Palestinians. I can understand this. So how can we diminish the violence that is used from which side, any side? And you said Hamas is not willing to recognize Israel, and I believe you. I think that's very true. But maybe also because the Palestinian areas are not being recognized. How far is Israel in maybe sometime recognizing the Palestinian territories? And I do understand that, of course, if the Palestinian territories are being recognized, they get a whole lot of rights which are in the UN. But maybe this also diminishes the violence, and Hamas is, their game is out.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, yeah.
It's not on purpose. I'm not taking your time.
Okay, no. He will get his time too.
we say time and again, all the issues on the table, all the issues of, obviously, two-state solution. So it is not that we are going to negotiate if there will be Palestinian state. Yes, we all accept, we understand, and Prime Minister Netanyahu, he's coming from the right side, I understand that I have to take painful decisions. So it comes to borders, securities, territories, Jerusalem, settlements, all of those issues are on the table. How do we get there? This is of course, the big question. This is a challenge. Let's hope that we find a way. If it would have been up to the two of us, I'm sure we would have been able to move ahead. But we are, and you are not going to lose your job the way I will, because.
Okay,
but
the next question is for the lady there. There. Ruth. Yeah, you were raising your.
Yeah.
Lars.
Okay. Hi, I'm Charlotte Hartman, and I was wondering. You said we are not willing to compromise our security situation. Do you think that if you make serious efforts to bring peace within the region with Palestine and Israel, do you think Iran has less of an excuse to attack Israel and it won't be necessary to attack Iran anymore? Or do you think if it's not possible to get to the solution in the short term, that it is wise to attack Iran as prevention?
Well, with the leadership of Iran today, when they are so, and they are a threat, not just to Israel, they are a threat to the Gulf countries, they are a threat to many of the Arab countries, they are a threat to Europe. So this is today the crazy leadership that is over there. You cannot bet on them. But we are not going to, there's no linkage. We, as Israelis, like the Palestinians, we would like to bring this conflict to an end because we are not happy to live the way we are. If eventually there will be a different regime in Iran, and let's not forget, once we had excellent times with Israel and Iran during the Shah. It's possible. I mean, it's the Iranian people. I mean, we don't have anything against the Iranian people. I hope it's vice versa. It's some of the political leaders which brought the situation to where it is. And there is a change today in the Arab world, which I hope will affect also what's happening in our region. Still, we have to wait and see how it evolves. But I personally, and not only myself, I remain optimistic because if I wouldn't have been optimistic, I wouldn't have been able to live there. The fact that I feel that it's doable, knowing the Palestinians, working with the Palestinians, visiting Palestinians, they knowing us, I know that it's doable. It's frustrating, it's painful, but we can get there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, for your interesting words. And thank you very much, Divon.